A forest spirit finds a young girl. He has just a few months to spend alive and he decides to find her family. Will he find them? Episode 1. The forest protector Golem is the one who secures the fate of the forest and ensures the animals are protected. One day, he meets a little girl Somali in the forest and she calls him Dad. He gets interested in humans and to find the history of humans, he travels the world. They reach a city of monsters and stop to eat. He tells them he is looking for humans and they inform him of the time humans and monsters fought a huge fight. Back then, humans and monsters live separately until they become aware of each other's existence. They start living together, but humans become degrading, thus causing a fight. Later, the humans flee away. When Golem realizes this, he wears a horn on Somali's head. They spend the night together at an inn. The following day, he goes to sell his stone, and Somali wanders after a cat monster. The cat allows Somali to pet her, but she starts smelling human scent on Somali. Before he catches her, Golem arrives and chases the monster away. They continue their journey and he realizes she acts on curiosity, but he says he doesn't feel emotions. He tells her she is the first human around him and should stop wandering around. He decides to hold her hands. Episode 2. They stop at a forest to prepare food, and she invites some bunnies to eat with her. She chases one of the bunnies and she gets injured. Golem can't take care of her since he doesn't understand the human body. Luckily, a dwarf Oni named Chizuno passes by and helps them. She invites them to her house for further treatment. At her house, they meet her assistant Yabashira and they treat her wound. He asks Chizuno to teach her how to treat Somali in case of next time, and she asks for Golem's body in return, and he gives her. They start training and she asks him why he wants to learn. He says it's because he doesn't want Somali to feel any pain. Later that night, they wonder why Golem is traveling and he tells them he wants to find Somali's parents. He tells them his lifespan remains a year and he wants to find Somali's parents before he dies. The following day, he continues his journey with Somali. Episode 3. They walk towards the desert and they get to Anthole City, a city that looks like an anthole and anyone who goes missing there can't be found. He goes to sell his stones again but they are undervalued, so he takes Somali to a restaurant to eat. He meets the owner's son Kikila, a young deer. Kikila's father arrives and tells them his wife is sick, so he needs an assistant. So Golem offers to work for money. Somali spends time with Kikila and Golem finds out humans are around the west, so he prices all he will need for the journey and promises to keep working until he gets enough. He ensures Somali is around him and he doesn't allow her out of the house. One day, he reluctantly allows her to follow Kikila out of the house. As she follows him, she confides in him that Golem wants to leave her. To make her feel better, he takes her to a forbidden island where people's wishes come true. She attempts to pick a flower, but they are attacked by a mushroom. Fortunately, a wolfman saves them. Episode 4. She finds out from Kikila that the wolfman is Muthrika, the chamber protector. They see that their flowers are dying and Muthrika tells them that flowers there die early and better ones can be found in the underground chamber, but he forbids them from going. They insist and he follows them there. They succeeded in taking the flowers and return home. Upon returning home, Golem gets angry at her for returning late, threatening that he will stop the journey if she does so again. So she angrily drops the flowers and enters the room. After she leaves, Muthrika gives the flowers to Golem and explains how much Somali stressed herself for it. Golem goes to apologize to Somali but finds out she is ill. He then goes to buy her medicine. The following day, they reconcile. That being said, Muthrika tells Golem that he knows his lifespan is ending and begs him to stay with Somali forever, but he knows the wish can't come true. Episode 5. They continue their journey and they get to Winecup Village, a village for travelers. They stop at a restaurant and she requests ice cream. They meet a lady harpy, Uzoi, who asks for ice cream too, but there's just one left, so they fight for it. They eventually sit together and share their journey. They meet Uzoi's companion, a falcohol named Haitora, and Uzoi asks them to join their journey. In private, Uzoi reveals that Haitora is a human and they are looking for a cure for his illness, so Uzoi believes Somali may be the cure. That night, as they pitch their tent, Uzoi asks Somali to follow her to get water. As they leave, Haitora tells Golem that Uzoi wants to hurt Somali, and they start looking for the girls. Meanwhile, Uzoi pins Somali for her wing. Episode 6. On Golem's way, Hitora tells him his blood is corrupted and a fortune teller has told them they need another human blood, so they thought Somali may cure him. Meanwhile, Somali runs from Uzoy. She falls into the pool and Uzoy saves her. Uzoy realizes she could kill Somali, so she apologizes and confesses. The boys also catch up with them and they reconcile. Later that night, Hitora confesses to Golem that he was the one that ate Uzoy's mother, that's why those things are coming out of him. He narrates that their city was attacked by monsters, and they hid. They became hungry and found a harpy. As they ate it, his wife and child died but he survived, and met Uzoy later. Uzoy hears this and feels betrayed. She remains in that mood the next day and tries to confide in Somali. As they talk, the wind throws them away and a bird attacks them. The boys eventually save them and Uzoy hugs Hitora. Hitora asks her if she wants his punishment, so she sentences him to stay with her. Episode 7. With Golem's days decreasing, Hitora informs him about the city of witches, where he can get information about humans. The following day, he proceeds there. They visit a library and they find Hazel. She helps them find books about humans and they also meet Hazel's sister, Praline, who tells them the book is titled The Chronicles of Hara. Somali finds it and takes it, but suddenly, a book-eating fish attacks and destroys the book. Since the book is destroyed, they decide to see if there is a previous reader, and they find out the only reader is Isolde Nebsolv, the former librarian. Episode 8. Hazel tells them Isolde is ill, but when Somali keeps crying, Praline gives her the man to the library where they can see her. They tour the library and fall into some guards, and Isolde saves them. They ask her for the Chronicles of Hara, and she says it's a story of one of her ancestors' experience with humans, and she was the one who wrote the book. The young witch Fyodora Nebsolv falls into a village and wakes up among humans, and they welcome her. She then goes to meet the head of the village, a golem named Haraiso. When the villagers are about to find out she isn't human, Haraiso tells them she is human. On the day they finally find out, she had flown to save a girl and they turned against her. She returns to her city and several years later, Isolde writes the book. She tells them she knows Somali is human and she hopes all the species can live in peace. She tells Golem he can find humans at the end of the world and she does. Episode 9. They continue their journey and they take shelter at an abandoned house. They find raw materials and he makes a meal for her for the first time. They hear a knock and see it's Shizuno and Yabashira. They spend the night together and the following day, Shizuno and Yabashira go to a village to see a dentist. Golem and Somali follow them. Somali also has a toothache but she refuses to talk. When Golem eventually finds out something is wrong, he tries to check on her but she runs and mistakenly hits some bandits. The bandits try to attack them and it causes a fight. Somali's teeth got removed and they reassure her it would grow back. As they leave, they meet an innkeeper who asks them to spend the night as a reward for punishing the bandits. That night, Shizuno asks Golem why he is protecting a human, and Golem replies that he thinks his duty as a forest protector got extended when he met her. Episode 10. He narrates how he found Somali to Shizuno, and tells her that if he shuts down, she should take care of Somali. The following day, the men go for the bodyguard job they took the day before leaving Somali with Shizuno. At home, Somali tells Shizuno she would like to get her father a gift. She thinks of knitting but she doesn't know how to knit. Luckily for her, Rosa, the innkeeper's wife, visits them, and she teaches Somali how to knit. Upon leaving the inn, Rosa sees the three bandits and tells them she feels Somali is human. She sounds sure because she is sure of Somali's scent. Episode 11. After their duty ends, they return to the inn. He buys a band for Somali and she also gives him the band she is knitting. That night, he overhears some human hunters are coming for Somali. He calls Yabashira and confesses that Somali is human. They plan on how to distract the hunters while Yabashira distracts them. Somali escapes but the other humans see her. They are attacked but they escape. They met Rosa and she captures them. She narrates how much she hates humans since they attacked her village, and she insists on taking Somali. To protect Somali, Golem changes into a huge beast. Episode 12. He goes after the hunters and kills them. Yabashira tries to protect Rosa, but Golem throws him away. As he is about to kill Rosa, Somali stands before him, so he shuts down immediately. He wakes up a few days later and he apologizes. He lost his hands and a large part of his body. He walks around with Shizuno and tells her about his condition. She offers to find a solution, but he insists there may not be a cure. They leave the next day and continue their journey. They eventually reach a village where they are having a party. He uses the opportunity to run away, but she notices his absence and finds him. He tells her she isn't safe with him again, but she insists they should stay together. He hugs her and says even if he becomes a spirit, he will always be there to protect her. Thanks for watching our video. If you want us to recap the next season, let us know in the comment section.